to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to Wake Up Africa, Dr. Mumbi Show, Dr. Mumbi Live. Thank you so much for joining us on this platform. Thanks for subscribing. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for all the likes and shares, beloveds. Make sure the video gets out there. And special shout out to our Patreon team. We do release more teachings on there, should I say. And we're still releasing news articles on there, just because I guess it's hard to break a habit, but really feeling very grateful not to be talking about, the crazy matrix, because it's as powerful as we make it, beloveds. And sometimes I feel like we've made the Matrix and the Mzungu and all these people so popular, and it's given them this, extra ordinary power that they wouldn't possess if we just saw them for who they really were. But those are definitely stories for others' days. As I've been talking about how we're spiritual beings having a human experience, which means that, things, when you think about that, then this is a vessel that we use to conduct our business, to go about our business here on Earth, on Gaia, whatever you want to call it. And it's really important to understand that concept, because then, you'll get out of this thinking, this childlike thinking, like you were just born here, out of nowhere, and this is your one life, and then you'll either go to heaven or hell. And that is really like kindergarten mentality. And actually, it's kindergarten indoctrination, because our children are way wiser than that when they enter into this realm. But those, are definitely stories for other days. And by the way, these are those stories for other days. But when you realize that, especially now, I'm speaking to the chosen ones, that you've been here several times and you chose yourself to come here for this epic, Armageddon battle, which is not going to be physical, it's going to be mental. If you see any physical kind of fighting, those aren't humans, beloveds. Those are either genetically modified humans or bots, etc. But when you realize as a chosen one that you've been here several times and you're on assignment, then you realize that you chose your parents. Definitely check out that video. And you chose the dynamics of everything that you've come into. Then the next step is to recognize that you have come here with with allies, and there are also agents who have come here because you're here. And it's really important to understand the difference between an ally and an agent, so that you can understand and start to see clearly the different people in your life, because the agents really know how to hide themselves as allies. Gosh, I can't speak today. Let me just take a breath. They really know how to hide themselves as allies, and so they can convince you that they're for you when they're really against you. So because you came here, on purpose, there were certain things that you wanted to achieve. You recognized that on this solar melanated planet, for the melanated solar people, that there was so much density and darkness that you would almost forget yourself, and you'd have to spend the majority of your life kind of trying to plug back in to your spiritual connection, so that you could now move your assignment forward. So there are certain allies. Some people have come as spiritual teams, beloveds. Some people have come as spiritual superpower couples. There's many different variations, because I keep telling you, beloveds, that we are from, many of us are not originally from here, but where we come from helped to create this reality. So we'll always be connected. And that's why so many of us, be it we're from the water nation or the fire nations, etc., we're so connected to what is happening, on this level, what is happening in this reality. And so there are certain souls that we have come into to help us achieve our goal, or that we connected with. It's like, oh, you're going into that game? Okay. okay, so when it reaches like 25 years, do you mind just rocking up into my life and shaking it up this way or that way so that I can, be triggered to kind of awaken? So we as chosen ones created so many opportunities for ourselves to awaken, to make sure that we did. And the most important thing was to get to this point, which many of us have done. So how do we recognize allies and how do we see the agents in our lives? Let me start with the allies, beloveds. So basically, an ally is someone who, and it can be someone who plays either a positive or negative role, because not everyone who plays a negative role is against us, beloveds. That's why we have to know, we have to have that spiritual discernment to understand why certain events are playing out in our reality when we know we are the creators of that experience. So some allies are there to awaken us, to kick us out of our mental lethargy. And so they may come in what many would say a negative light to kind of trigger us to change ourselves, etc., teach us a lesson. But allies basically hold keys for us, because one thing we have to realize is any material gift must come through people, and any kind of even mental breakthrough also comes through people. And so people hold a lot of our keys. Many of our allies will be people who assist us. They may come assist us and then disappear. They teach us something, they may save us from a certain situation. They may guide us to a certain truth, to a certain, to the next level in our journey, because this whole journey is about opening up our minds to the level where we can operate, with a totally, free but discerning mind that is in our full control. And we can tap into all the incredible capabilities and powers that we have. And so in order to open up our minds so that we can tap into our power and all our connections, we need certain information, certain keys, certain opportunities that will grow, that will grow our soul and grow us spiritually. And that's why we find allies will come into our lives. Allies also show up. Sometimes it's one, when we're still in the dark, they call it the dark night of the soul. I don't really know if that, but when we're still trying to awaken, when we're still in the darkness of this world, it may be one ally here and there because our vibrations will not be in alignment. You roll with who you vibe with, beloveds. That's one thing you need to realize. So vibe higher. You roll with who you vibe with. So when you're vibing low, many of our allies can't really connect with you because maybe they'll be vibing high, etc., or you may come together as two low vibing, chosen ones and try and get through the muck. But you also have to be careful you don't pull each other down. Anyway, you know what? Allies are there to give you a key that will open up a different door in your mind so that you can get out of the, matrix maze that they have put you in. Let's take a short break. When we come back, I'll be talking about agents. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa. Welcome back, beloveds, to Wake Up Africa on the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. Today I'm talking about agents and allies. And this message is really for the chosen ones. As I always say, the chosen ones chose themselves to be here at such a quote unquote difficult time, to ensure that this space we're in makes it to the next level, and that is not, that mission doesn't remain unaccomplished. Stories for other days. Thanks to everyone. Go ahead and like and share the video, beloved, so that more of our people can get to see this. So I've talked about the allies, but what do our agents look like? There are certain people, beloveds, who are with you lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Maybe you came in one lifetime and you were sisters, or you came in one lifetime and you had a romantic dynamic, and you mashed them up, or you broke their heart, or something happened, or as sisters there was this crazy rivalry. And if that experience leaves a signature on the soul of the being that you had that experience with, they will never forget. And so they'll always be so connected to the matrix that they'll be looking out for you to see literally when you're coming back into the matrix, so that they can come in too and seek vengeance, etc., etc. And these is people usually who maybe you have no karmic debts with them. Maybe they did something to you and you were like, you know what, we don't need to go into another cycle, I forgive you, whatever. But they had to go through their cycle, but not necessarily with you. It's very complicated. I'm not going to get too deep into that. But basically, agents, it's like they have this vendetta. And then there are also beings, beloved, we're in a spiritual war. This isn't just, we're trying to awaken and we're trying to discuss things so we make it. No, this is life and death scenarios right now. Are you gonna elevate or are you not? Are you gonna fly or are you gonna die and live to fly maybe 5,000 years from now? It's that critical. Energy never dies, spirit never dies, but you can be stuck in a nasty situation for a very long time. And that's what this particular time is about. And there are so there are chosen ones who have come to enlighten the people, because everything has been done to get you to the position you're in right now, where you're docile, you're half asleep, you're confused because there's so many truths and information. It's like information overload. You're distracted, you're, eating poorly. All these things are just making it very hard for people to just cling on to their mental power and parachute out of here, literally out of the matrix, and start to create the life of their dreams. Beloveds, you should be like creating, or at least even maybe living, your best life right now. Like I was saying that without even knowing that this is the season for the best life. Anyway, so agents basically are just people who they don't want the planet to change, because they're low vibe, and they energetically feed off the different beings here who don't know themselves, etc., etc. And they want the status quo to remain the way it is. So an agent is gonna try and stop you by any means necessary. If they can't stop you, they'll attempt to distract you by any means necessary. Maybe by, attracting you and getting you to go into a relationship or a career path or something that is totally not your destiny. They will also destroy you by any means necessary. And destruction is about mental destruction. Many of us, our agents were our parents, which is why we're in this situation where we're in such crazy narcissistic dynamics. And the more we get empowered, the more they get disempowered. So it's just like, whoa. So, they were our agents, and they have spent our whole lives telling us how we were nothing, we couldn't do nothing, this was bad about us. That was just breaking us down, destroying us, so that when the hour reached, and beloveds, this is the hour. So that when the hour reached, we wouldn't be able to mentally parachute ourselves out, because our self-esteem was so damaged, our identity was so wrecked, etc., etc. And they wanted that to happen. That's what we have to overstand, beloveds. And so, it's really important for us to get that they will destroy you. And they can destroy you early, and it affects your life for the rest of your life. They will also create a lot of confusion and sorrow in your life, etc., etc. And sometimes they look so right, but they're so wrong. Can you hear the children in the background? You guys, I'm on camera. Just wait. Hi. Okay, just give me 2 seconds. How are you? Okay. My children, the neighbors, oh, they're so adorable. They're looking at me like, what are you doing? Because schools have been closed. I wish I could just sit with them and give them a little. But anyway, I'm going to go bond with them in a little while. So back to agents, beloveds. An agent will do anything to make sure that you don't get on your destiny path. They'll do everything to make sure that you don't connect with your allies. So if you meet an ally, they'll be like, especially if they've been there all along and they're a family member and they've been there all their life, they will destroy those relationships. They will absolutely make sure that they do. And, they also try and break you by any means necessary. But if you are here today, beloveds, it means that you made it. Regardless of what the agents tried, you made it. and you are above any agent, because an agent is a very low vibe kind of being, and because you're above that agent, they're being exposed already, and they just won't be able to be part of your life because you made it. You're a chosen one, and now you're activated. The fact that you're watching this video, the only thing now is that we need to reconcile our spirit and our soul with our experience, and do the necessary mental clearing so that we can come to terms with everything that we've been to, and let go of the agents and really cleave to our allies, because now it's like our soul family is coming into the picture, beloveds. Some of us have never known such, relationships, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. Until next time, Tuko pamoja.